What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy the D here, aka the Captain of the Thunder God Pirates, and welcome back to another One Piece chapter review. Well, discussion. I keep calling them reviews. It's not a review, it's a discussion. We're just talking about the chapter, reading through it, giving you some of my general thoughts, that whole thing. But anyway, if you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more, definitely like, comment, subscribe. Yet again, just know that you could be anywhere in the world, but you were here with me, and I appreciate that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Well, first, before we get into that, the cover story, yet again, Puddin has finished beating the ever-loving crap out of both Niji and Yonji, which they kind of deserved, I mean, they were pinned down while it happened, but still, they deserve that. But anyway, we see Oven hoisting the book on his shoulder, and they're going to Whole Cake Island, so they're going back to the center of all this bullshit with Brule, who's still here. Speaking of which, am I the only one who has noticed that Brule is fine as shit from here down? Am I the only one who's noticed? I mean, except for her hands, she's like fucking Lady Deathstrike. But that's story for another day. But yeah, they're getting carted off the from Cacao Island to Whole Cake Island. But back to the chapter itself. One Piece, chapter 1042. The victor needs no epithet. So cut back to the first floor basement, where we see that Drake, who overheard everything, has impaled Bowler Hat. And Bowler Hat, as he's, dying, he asks Drake to explain himself, to which Drake just huffs, "This is what my justice tells me to do." And then Bowler Hat, with blood coming out of his mouth and nose, says he envies him. He then shaves away, right off the blade, and hits Drake in the chest with a finger gun. And then after that exchange, and also Drake's in his hybrid form, so the fact that he's taking this much damage while in his hybrid form from this dude's attacks, the dude has got to be high level. Because as we've seen earlier in the arc, the dinosaur zones are ridiculously, durable. So the fact that he's taking this much damage, it looked like they fought prior to this exchange. So, yeah. So then we cut over to the Flower Capital, and everybody's still laughing, being merry. They got the lanterns going. And somebody's asking, "Hey, did you write down all your wishes? Now light the fires in the skyboats." Yet again, we see old Hedgehog Head. I can't remember his name right now. Komurasaki's her little, I can't remember what they're called. We see her, okay? You know who? Old Hedgehog Head, the guy who helped Odin back when he was young. They're setting off the skyboats, and everybody's yet again partying, saying it's time to make them fly and send your wishes into the sky. So then we cut back to the top of Onigashima, where Luffy is using fourth gear Snake Man Hydra, and he is beating the absolute shit out of Kaido with this one. Kaido is he's being punched from every conceivable angle all at once. This shit is ridiculous. What Luffy did to Katakuri was bad, but this shit is worse. And he's got his new advanced, he has the Ryuo, the advanced armament haki. Then he's using his Conqueror's haki to its full extent, so them punches hurt. So Luffy's starting to wheeze, and we know that, okay, this battle's been going on for a long time. Even with the little break he had, he's still winded. And this next panel is where I think that a theory I saw is starting to come to fruition. Because here's the thing. Kaido, while he's being beaten down, and he's even admitting that this hurts, is he bending the trajectory of his attacks? Given the nature of rubber, that's impossible. Yet again, remember what the girls they were saying about a fruit they had to rename and to keep secret of mystery. That might be Luffy's fruit. But whenever we get a reveal of that, I'll talk about it a little bit more. But for right now, let's continue. So Kaido's yet again getting the shit kicked out of him. And he finally just says, stop it already. That hurts. So Kaido goes, he's in his drunken beggar. yet again, this motherfucker is still drunk off his ass. He's like, just stop it, while Fish goes, just stop. And Luffy, just exasperated with Kaido, like, are you still drunk? Good God. And Kaido's like, ugh. Don't assume you're the only one who can see the future. So then Kaido finally dodges. And he then wheezes and said, what if I try copying you? So here's where we see Kaido being a little more, well, thoughtful, I would say. That's the thing. So now it seems that Kaido is able to just zip past Luffy's attacks, and it seems that he's able to use Future Sight. Now, I'm not saying he didn't, because I think in order to get to this level, the level that he's been at, and the people that he's been around, he's gonna know Future Sight. So, and I think I saw somebody who read the unofficial scans like, man, that's whack. You know, Kaido should like use Future Sight this whole time he hasn't been. And what the person who retweeted it said was like, hey, it's already been established that Future Sight drains your stamina. And even though Kaido has a lot, using Future Sight on top of Conquerors, on top of armament, is just a recipe for disaster. So Kaido zips around in his dragon form. He dodges all the punches. He's like, ugh, like this, the drunken thief. He weaves through all of the attacks and then sees to bite Luffy, to which Luffy exclaims in pain. Because remember, through all the shit that Luffy has, he is still weak to edge attacks, and Kaido has a mouth full of razor sharp teeth. So he takes him into the air, and like he actually keeps him in his mouth. So and as he's spiraling upwards, Luffy's beating like, "Let me out!" So then Kaido decides to let him out using Boro Breath, Blast Breath, and he, with Luffy in the breath, Luffy hits Onigashima while the blast keeps going, even piercing Onigashima to the fact where it goes through the main hall, even down to the basement, where we see Yamato dodge it. And so it looks like Luffy went with it, so he didn't just hit and stay. He actually, we see him come out of the bottom of Onigashima, and he has to skywalk back using Bounce Man. So Kaido looking on like, oh, you're coming back. So Luffy's talking to himself. He's like, okay, how many more minutes I got left? This is the last time I can use fourth gear. Like, you know, he's cognizant of like, okay, my stamina's not gonna last much longer. I need to finish this now. And he gets above Kaido and says losing is an option. And Kaido's just yet again like, you're rather demanding. And Luffy, he charges up his attack and he's like, look, as long as you're around, people of Wano can't even have clean water to drink. So Kaido just laughs and is like, look, you're free to do whatever you want, take whosever side you want, that's not my concern. But let me tell you, these Wano folk have accepted defeat into their hearts. Weaklings who shun violence, casualties who found glory in death. I've seen plenty of the losers and vanquished here, and plenty of losers and vanquished here, and they all have their excuses. So Luffy's like, man, shut up, samurai are strong. So Kaido finally prepares another blast, but he's like, strong or just stubborn? Because, quick pause, that is something to keep in mind with Wano, especially set with their samurai culture. I don't know if the traditional Japanese samurai culture is the same way. I think it is, but I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, it comes to the point where sometimes, you know, putting on a tough, like, look, in my life, there have been plenty of times where I've had to put on a stiff upper lip, you know, kind of try to act like shit don't bother me when it does. But at some point you have to realize sometimes it's not being strong, it's more so being stubborn. And yeah, I think even though Kaido is kind of a musclehead, we've seen that he is way more observant than he lets on. Kind of like Whitebeard, because everybody always thought Whitebeard was just full of bluster, but in actuality, he was actually quite thoughtful. And I think Kaido, he's kind of observed them long enough, and he's kind of made up his mind about them. Not saying it's right or wrong, but he actually has been observing the country as he's been rolling over it. And he then goes on to say, the victor needs no epithet, so which are you? And then Luffy uses his attack over Kong Gun, hitting Kaido in the chin and causing his blast breath to explode in his mouth, causing him to fall to the floor. So Luffy rushes yet again, still rushing him, like, okay, he's not done yet. Gotta knock him all the way out while I can still use Gear 4. So then Kaido gets up, returns to his hybrid form, and uses Thunder, Bellow, Balgada, and hits Luffy one more time. Kind of reminiscent of how, things happened back in Leftover Town. So Luffy, he starts spitting up steam, and he kind of stopped himself. He's like, hey, come on, don't leave me yet. So Kaido, yet again, laughing his ass off, still drunk, bloodthirsty drunk. And so Luffy starts to rush Kaido again. He's like, okay, one more hit, and if that doesn't work, then I've lost. So they then get to the point where they're cocking back and they're about to do it one more time. So Luffy's got his gum, and Kaido's like, show me what you got, boy. Thunder, Bellow, and then so Luffy's like, over, but right as he's doing that, old Bowler Hat appears behind him, grabbing him, Iron Body. And Kaido goes to swing, and at the last second he notices, and then he remembers back when he was fighting Odin when they used a Momo, when the old Kurozumi woman turned into Momo, causing him to lose. And then he finishes his attack, but as he's finishing his attack, you can see his face. He didn't want to win like this. And it seems, like I said, this is the end of the chapter, but it seems like Luffy might be out, because he wasn't even able to counter. Dude made it so that Luffy took that whole hit square. And just like that, like I said, the chapter's over, and we got another chapter coming next week, so I'm kind of wondering how this is going to play out. Because as we've seen last time with Kaido, because remember, when Kaido was loading his pistol before he shot Odin in the head while he was boiled, he told him, he was like, look, sorry it's had to happen. Oh, but don't worry, that old bitch who interfered with our fight, I made sure to take care of her. He killed her. We all know that, because that fruit eventually ended up in the hands of Bon Clay. So he killed her. He was like, And it's kind of weird to see. Kaido is a bad person. Let's not, look, I have no misgivings about the type of person Kaido is. He's bad. But it's weird to say. He is not completely without honor. Because yet again, we've seen him do bad things. A, what he's done to Wano. B, Gecko Moria. Remember, he purposely killed all the people that Gecko cared about and left him alive. On purpose. But in here and with Odin, he was like, look, I might be a piece of shit, but I'm at least a fair piece of shit. If you can beat me in a fight, you're good. And I don't take kindly to people interfering in my fights like this. It's like, hey, look. Because even then, he took the victory. He didn't say like, hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave Wano. No, he took the victory. He was like, I know I didn't beat you squarely. Which, it adds a dimension to Kaido's character, because it's like, he's not without honor. He completely. Because remember, even Whitebeard said, a man cannot live without a code. And even remember when Katakuri was fighting Luffy, when he stabbed himself with the mole. And they both agreed, like, yeah, there are no rules to a fight. Like, there are no rules out here. But it just goes to show you how a man conducts himself is more important. So even on the other end of that spectrum, with Kaido not being a good person, like, we've heard shit like that from Shanks, Whitebeard, Luffy, and even towards the middle between good and bad, Katakuri. Because believe me, if you think Katakuri hasn't done some fucked up shit being a part of Big Mom's crew, you're lying to yourself. But on the opposite end of that, you can see Kaido, whose his alignment is not in line with them. He's a conqueror. He is a Morganeer. Okay, in case you don't know what that means, in the original One Piece Romance Dawn one shot, like the pretty much the prototype for One Piece, Luffy would be a peace man. Pirates would just like to adventure, like Luffy and Shanks and hell, even Whitebeard. But then there were pirates like Big Mom, Blackbeard, and Kaido, who are Morganeers, who attack and pillage. So he's a pillager, polar opposite of Luffy's ideology. But even then, he has his honor, and he does not like to compromise that. But with that, that's going to be this chapter review, chapter discussion. Thank you so much for joining me. Yet again, if you like what you heard, definitely make sure to hit that follow button, you know, like, comment, you know, tell me what you thought about the chapter. Tell me what you think about Kaido. But yet again, I thank you for joining me, because yet again, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with me, and I appreciate that. And why does this shit have to pop up right now? Goodness, but yet again, this has been your boy, the D20, signing out. See ya.